Okay, thanks and good morning. First of all, I want to say thanks to the whole team of Platform. I want to tell you a story today, so I have to run, and my English is not so beautiful, so excuse me first. I tell this story starting from this image. I think there are some moments that we remember best in our life because I don't know a set of details more or less clear. Places set in episodes on the podium of our memory, and this I am sure happens to each of us. I think it's important to share that moment when Angelo, the customer, phoned me asking to develop a project for his son's house. And I was there, and that was so unexpected. So that day, it was 2013, I was 35 years old, and in that period, I was establishing my office in Genoa after different experiences in other studies in the city. This was my first opportunity to challenge with a complex theme, in my opinion, a project on the existing building, and the project based on the relationship between the infinite, in my opinion, pairs of opposites from which architecture originates. So the same day when I received the phone call, since I knew the building because I had carried out a renovation of the swimming pool, I sent some ideas to the customer the same day. And that was the beginning of the history. From those first light notes, we designed the house for his son, based on the need to build a new house next to a 70s villa, of which it was not possible to identify historical, architectural, or landscape values. My office prefers to work on out-of-town spaces, apparently lost, next to natural environments, sea, countryside, or mountains. Therefore, the analysis and knowledge of the landscape in which we operate is, in my opinion, fundamental. So I want to start from the where the project take place. We are on the north coast of the Mediterranean Sea, and so the sun is on the south, and this is very important. We are area a nice strip of land between the sea and the mountains, very, very straight. The small town is Varazze, where I live too, and the building is located in a district, called Piani di Ivrea, where the landscape values are so particularly significant. And these are some pictures of the environment we are working in. So we can find different natural or artificial entities collected in a minimum distance. The seaside, where the cycle and pedestrian path has taken the place of the railway, the old railway. The Mediterranean bush. And strictly, we can find the very first countryside of the region where everything changes. I mean, the ambient is completely different in a very short space, short area. Then there is the human being, so the Via Aurelia, the old Via Aurelia, and the new highway or motorway, which creates a visible and impressive cut in the environments. So, in my opinion, land, sun, water, vegetation, and man's action, so the infrastructure, for example, mold landscapes where it's possible to promote the metamorphosis of contemporary living, revaluing our new time. This is the existing villa, the old, built in the 70s. The position is in the northern part of the area. So here there is the Via Aurelia and the highway. So we are constricted in a very, very short and small place. The villa has a volume added in more recent times, that this one will be issued, has been demolished and rebuilt to create the new home. This is what in Italy we call abuso edilizio. So we first decided to operate on the existing villa to look for a renovation, trying without invasive structural intervention to rework the wool elements, restoring a new point of view. So we inserted more rigorous geometries instead of the arches. With this one, I decided to have the memory of something, even if the 70s is not a great memory, but we love to have to maintain something of the old villa. We desaturated the elevation, so everything is now white and gray. And we matched it with a new material, this stone called Pietra di Gerusalemme. And this creates a more smart ambient. Last but not least, we opened larger windows when there was small ones. So this allowed to give a new special relationship between inside and outside. Once the redevelopment was completed, we worked on the new construction. First of all, we wanted to identify the landscape where we are working in. This system is, to me, necessary to collect the elements to model the new project. Between the highway and the coast, we have about 200 meters. This slope has a difference in height of about 60 meters. So this is the place I wanted to identify, to work, to understand what to do. These are all the environments we were speaking. So in this strip of land, different environments coexist, both natural or anthropogenic, already described, which define our reference system. The section of the slope was, to me, necessary to understand and give meaning to the relationships in the sequence of environment. So this is the new building. The new building will define the living space through a system made of simple structural elements. Vertical structures are made with stone. So these are the first elements, and this is the realization. Horizontal structures are made with large white volumes. This is the original sketch, and this is the realization. And these big volumes also ensure the necessary shading to the south. The new house is then covered with a green roof, which create the continuity with the terrace. So the new building has only the south facade, because all the rest is against the slope. The new house is built in 3 levels: the ground floor with the boxes, and the lift with the entrance to get to the first floor. The first floor is the sleeping room, and the third is the living room with the great view on the sea. And the second opposite view on the country, I can say, on the terrace. So, I mean, this floor is the means that this space can be the connection between one environment, so the sea, and the second, the countryside. The relationship between stone, white volumes, and all the other elements crystallizes, in my opinion, or better, I try to give this message, I think. Crystallizes the matter's need to make space for itself while delimiting the environments to be lived in. I can say, I hope I can say, that the challenge of obtaining large spaces to live in where it seemed impossible has become true. This is the north portion, so this is the living spaces of this. So this picture is this picture. This is the old situation. In the north, in the south, so if on the south side the facade opens to the sea, on the other the volume is grafted into the hill, becoming one with the land. So when you are on the top, the villa does not exist. The villa exists only if you look at the object from the sea. This is the system of the stairs outside. I can say that the building was built in a very narrow corridor, so a sort of ingenious loci expressed itself in the typical Ligurian need to obtain as much space as possible with thrift and accuracy from the little. In these 3 meters between the border and the volume, there is the new system redefined of stairs. Finally, it was possible to obtain a single building structure in which elements of the landscape, I think, are still gathered. And so by renewing the point of view on the entire complex, it was possible to develop a contemporary project capable of merging with the existing and with the landscape, while keeping an autonomous language. And this is one of the most significant pictures, in my opinion. So we can see the old and the new one. We can see the old building and the new one. Okay, I get it. The same happens with greater emphasis in the night view, which enhance the study of lighting that followed the project. Finally, I would like to underline, this is the Google image, which can help us to see how the roof is create this continuity and the 3 floors of the new building. Finally, I like to say, and then I finish, and underline an aspect that appears quite clear in the latest image. And there is an approach, a method dear to me, to which I believe I always refer, knowingly or not, to feel safe in the insecurity that must be the basis of the project. This belief is based on the idea that the search for opposites leads to the awareness of the whole. And I hope that this building, that is now part of the land, can somehow demonstrate that this approach can be able to bring equilibrium, harmony, and proportion. So finally, I can say that maybe beauty is when this order that governs everything become apparent. We can find it, I mean. And I am done. Thanks for your attention, and thanks. Grazie.